On the morning of December 21st, 2025, a swimmer failed to return to shore during a group open water swim off of Lovers Point near Monterey, California. According to official statements and local media reporting, the incident has been treated as a possible shark-related encounter. Now, before anything else, I want to acknowledge the individual who lost her life and extend my sincere condolences to her family, friends, and the local open water swim community. I want to be very deliberate with the language in this video because investigations take time and headlines often move faster than the facts. So we're going to separate what's confirmed, what's been reported by witnesses, and what remains unknown, including the fact that as of the release of this video, no coroner's report has been released and no official cause of death has been publicly determined. Based on initial reports, authorities treated the response as a possible shark-related incident, while also noting at the time that there was no conclusive evidence. That distinction matters, and it's something we'll talk about shortly. The reality is that the mere mention of a shark alongside a missing swimmer creates an immediate, high-profile media narrative, one that gets clicks, and one that can quickly outpace the available evidence. So why was the mention of a shark used in the initial report? Well, to understand that, we need to look at how incidents like this are assessed in real time. In the early moments of a marine emergency, authorities rely heavily on witness reports, especially when a swimmer goes missing in an area known to have large marine predators. In this case, an eyewitness on shore reported seeing a large disturbance in the water and believed they saw a shark in the vicinity. Another witness stated seeing a shark breaching with a human in its mouth. That information was relayed to emergency responders and became part of the initial response framework. From an operational standpoint, labeling an incident as possibly shark-related isn't a conclusion, it's a precaution. It allows agencies to expand the search area, adjust safety protocols, and alert the public to a potential hazard while facts are still being gathered. Importantly, at the same time that a shark-related scenario was being considered, officials also acknowledged that there was no conclusive evidence confirming an actual shark attack. Those two things can coexist during an active investigation. The problem arises when that preliminary language, meant for safety and coordination, gets translated into certainty once it reaches headlines and social media. And that's exactly what we saw here. Within 24 hours, headlines like this began circulating. Now, more than a week later, many posts and even some press coverage continue to frame this as a shark attack, despite the absence of publicly confirmed details about the actual cause. While the possibility of a shark-related incident exists, and there are witness reports of a shark in the area, that does not mean a shark attack has been confirmed. Like many fast-moving stories, this is a situation where restraint matters. Slowing down, acknowledging uncertainty, and waiting for verified information is important, and it's responsible analysis to do so. Here is what we know so far. Authorities said the swimmer was among a group of 17 people on December 21st who participated in a weekly Sunday swim across the bay when she went missing off of Lovers Point in the city of Pacific Grove. Her fellow swimmers came safely to shore following the incident. According to reports, other swimmers in the group did not report seeing a shark at the time of the swim, including her husband, who was reportedly in the water swimming near her. This too has yet to be confirmed. Now, if you're familiar with this channel, you know that a lack of awareness doesn't automatically rule anything out. It's quite common for sharks to be present without being noticed. At the same time, the absence of a confirmed sighting doesn't mean that there was no sharks. It simply reinforces the reality at this stage that key details remain unknown. What we do know is that the area where the swimmer and the group were swimming is a well-documented white shark habitat. A multi-agency search followed along the Monterey coastline. That search was eventually called off, though a few volunteers still continued their search. Then on December 27th, a body was recovered several miles to the north, near the Davenport area in Santa Cruz County. That is roughly 45 miles north, completely across this large, deep bay. The distance from the incident location has also unfortunately spurred lots of misinformation online as to how that body got there. What is known is that the individual was later identified by family members. She was an experienced triathlete and a beloved member of the local swim community. As of now, no coroner's report has been released and no official cause of death has been publicly confirmed. One thing that's often missing in reporting involving sharks is context, specifically the conditions surrounding an incident before it happens. In many shark-related stories, coverage focuses almost entirely on the events during and after the alleged or confirmed encounter. When this happens, important environmental details are often left out, and these are details that can give us clues. A simple review of conditions leading up to an incident can often provide important insight. For example, were there reports of bird activity or sea lion activity in the area at the time? That matters because those are what I refer to as species indicators, signals that can attract sharks to a specific location, or at the very least, increase the likelihood of them being there. This is the same approach I use when I'm tracking sharks in the wild. I often find more success by searching for other species, especially those that sharks prey on, rather than searching for sharks themselves. The presence of sea lions, seabirds, or even a whale carcass can significantly change how and why sharks use an area. In fact, in another alleged shark-related fatality just north of San Francisco in 2023, the presence of a whale carcass nearby became an important factor in understanding why a large shark may have been there to begin with. Again, this was not reported in any of the press reports because they focus on the events afterward. Then there's the history of the site itself. If this latest incident is determined to be a shark attack, then it would mark the second fatal attack at Lovers Point in over 70 years. Lovers Point is no stranger to shark incidents. Recently, in June of 2022, a swimmer was injured by a white shark at the same location. And that incident was investigated and medically confirmed at the time. That incident led to increased awareness within the local open water swim community and prompted some swimmers to reassess how they manage risk while training in the area. Now, in the aftermath of that 2022 incident, some members of this swim community made changes to their approach, including the use of shark band deterrent devices. Shark band devices are designed to emit an electromagnetic field intended to discourage close investigation by certain shark species. It is important to be very clear about what that does and does not mean. These devices are said to be a deterrent and not a shield. They are not designed to guarantee protection or prevent all interactions. Now, the effectiveness of the device itself is not the focus here, although that's probably a topic for a whole separate video in itself. More importantly, the presence of a shark deterrent does not confirm that a shark was involved in the incident, nor does it rule one out. It simply reflects a risk management decision made by experienced swimmers based on prior events in the area. Like wetsuits, spotters, or swimming in groups, deterrents are part of a broader safety strategy, not evidence of what occurred here. I want to zoom out for a moment and talk about something broader, because this isn't just about one incident or one location. I have lots of friends who swim weekly in open water groups. It's something I respect, even though it's not something that I personally do. Now, when I'm around these individuals, inevitably sharks always come up, especially because I've been invited a few times to scout areas around places like Point Dume in Malibu, which is also a popular open water swim site, and it's also a site popular with sharks. Areas like Lovers Point, Point Dume, and other near-shore sites up and down the California coast often overlap with sea lion haulouts, seal colonies, and known white shark feeding grounds. But in the area between Bodega Bay to Monterey to the Farallon Islands, known as the Red Triangle, this is historically an active great white shark area. It is well documented that they typically migrate to the coast in the Red Triangle between September and January to feed on seals. That doesn't mean an interaction is likely, but it does mean that there is an inherent and elevated level of risk that comes with swimming in those environments. Most of the time, nothing happens, but the reality is that when humans enter ecosystems used by large predators, awareness and risk management really does matter. Open water swimmers aren't reckless. Most are deeply aware of their environment. They swim in groups, choose familiar locations, monitor conditions, carry safety gear, and when they feel it's appropriate, use deterrents. None of those choices eliminates risk, but they reflect a thoughtful approach to sharing space with wildlife. The ocean is dynamic, and no amount of experience or preparation can remove uncertainty entirely. What matters is understanding that risk exists, managing it as best as possible, and respecting the environment for what it is, not what we wish it to be. Until more information is officially released, this story remains incomplete. When facts change, understanding should change with them. And for now, the most important thing is remembering that this is about a person, a family, and a community deserving of accuracy, patience, and respect.